America is filled with many unexplained mysteries, events that have captivated the public imagination and sparked countless debates and theories. In this episode, experience everything from the disappearance of a pioneering aviator to the enigma surrounding a lost colony, from the speculation around a historic event to the unsolved disappearance of a prominent figure. These cases have left behind a legacy of unanswered questions and unresolved puzzles. Join us as we delve into the mysterious world of some of history's most intriguing events, exploring the facts, the fiction, and everything in between. Get ready to have your mind blown as we unravel the secrets of some of the greatest unexplained mysteries of America. The Anasazi People, also known as the ancestral Pueblones, were a Native American civilization that lived in the Four Corners region of the American Southwest from approximately year 100 to 1300. Despite their long and rich history, much of the Anasazi culture and way of life remains a mystery to this day. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding the Anasazi is their sudden and enigmatic disappearance. Archaeologists have found evidence of thriving Anasazi communities, complete with complex agricultural systems, sophisticated architecture, and elaborate art and religious practices. However, by the late 13th century, these communities were abandoned, and the Anasazi people seem to have vanished without a trace. The reasons behind this sudden abandonment are still unknown, but theories range from resource depletion, social unrest, disease, or even climate change. Another mystery surrounding the Anasazi is the purpose and construction of their remarkable cliff dwellings. These structures, built into cliffs and alcoves in the canyon walls, remain some of the most impressive feats of architecture and engineering in North America. It is still unclear how the Anasazi were able to construct these dwellings, some of which were 3 or 4 stories high, using only primitive tools. The Anasazi also left behind a rich and complex religious and cultural heritage that is still largely shrouded in mystery. Rock art, pottery, and other artifacts provide glimpses into their beliefs and rituals, but much of their spiritual practices and cosmology remains a mystery. Some of the most enigmatic artifacts include the so-called Kachina dolls, which were carved wooden figures that depicted spirits from the Anasazi religion. Finally, the Anasazi were known for their advanced knowledge of agriculture, especially their ability to grow crops in the arid desert environment of the Southwest. They were able to irrigate their fields and grow maize, beans, and squashes despite limited water resources. However, the specifics of their agricultural techniques and innovations remain a mystery to this day. The Anasazi civilization remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. Despite decades of research and investigation, much of their culture, history, and way of life remains unknown, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and wonder for future generations. Continuing with the theme of mysterious disappearances, let us delve into the case of the Lost Colony of Roanoke. The Lost Colony was an English settlement established on Roanoke Island in what is now North Carolina in 1587. The fate of the settlers, however, remains one of the great mysteries of American history. The colony was founded by Sir Walter Raleigh, and its governor was John White. When White returned to England for supplies, he was delayed by the Spanish Armada and was unable to return to Roanoke for 3 years. When he finally made it back, he found the settlement abandoned, with no signs of the colonists or any indication of what had happened to them. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a tree and the letters Crow carved into a post. Since then, the fate of the colonists has been the subject of much speculation and investigation. Some theories suggest that the settlers were attacked and killed by Native Americans, while others propose that they were absorbed into Native American communities. There is also the possibility that the settlers simply moved to another location, although there is no evidence to support this theory. One of the biggest challenges in unraveling the mystery of the lost colony is the lack of concrete evidence. Although there have been numerous searches for artifacts and remains over the years, no conclusive evidence of what happened to the colonists has ever been found. The only artifacts that have been discovered are a few scattered tools and other household items, which offer little insight into what happened to the settlers. In recent years, new technologies such as ground-penetrating radar and DNA analysis have been used in an attempt to uncover the truth about the lost colony. These advances have the potential to shed new light on the mystery, but so far, they have not provided any definitive answers. The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of the most enduring mysteries of American history. Despite centuries of investigation, the fate of the colonists remains a mystery, leaving behind a legacy of speculation and unanswered questions. The story of the Lost Colony serves as a reminder of the many challenges and uncertainties that faced the early settlers of America, and it continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Building on the theme of unsolved disappearances, let us now examine the case of Michael Rockefeller, the youngest son of former New York Governor and U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller. Michael vanished in 1961 while on a collecting expedition in the remote jungles of what is now the Indonesian province of Papua. The mystery surrounding his disappearance has been the subject of much speculation and investigation, and it remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Michael was an accomplished collector of tribal art, and he was in New Guinea to purchase and collect examples of the region's traditional art and culture. On November 19, 1961, while he was sailing off the coast of New Guinea, Michael's boat capsized in rough seas, and he was presumed drowned. However, in the decades since, rumors and speculation about his fate have persisted. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence in the case of Michael Rockefeller is an image that has been circulating for many years. The image, which was taken by a Dutch journalist, appears to show a Western man who many have speculated is Michael, living among a tribe of indigenous people. Despite repeated efforts to confirm the identity of the man in the image, the truth has never been definitively established, and the man's identity remains a mystery to this day. Over the years, many attempts have been made to uncover the truth about Michael Rockefeller's disappearance. Private investigators, journalists, and even members of the Rockefeller family have attempted to solve the mystery, but to this day, no concrete evidence about his fate has been found. Some theories suggest that he was captured and killed by the Asmat tribe, while others propose that he may have lived among the indigenous people for years before eventually dying of natural causes. The disappearance of Michael Rockefeller remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Despite decades of investigation, speculation, and rumor, the truth about what happened to him remains a mystery, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and unanswered questions. The case of Michael Rockefeller is a reminder of the many dangers and uncertainties that still exist in our world, and it continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Continuing with the theme of unsolved mysteries and speculation, let us now explore the controversial topic of the moon landing and the various theories that suggest it was faked. On July 20, 1969, the United States successfully landed astronauts on the moon as part of the Apollo 11 mission, a feat that was hailed as a triumph of human achievement and a major milestone in space exploration. However, in the decades since, the moon landing has become the subject of much debate and speculation, with many people questioning whether or not it actually took place. The moon landing hoax theory gained traction in the 1970s and 1980s, fueled by a combination of factors including widespread skepticism about the government's ability to keep secrets, the Cold War tensions between the US and the Soviet Union, and a general mistrust of authority. According to the hoax theory, the moon landing was staged by the U.S. government as a propaganda stunt, with the footage and photographs of the event being faked in order to demonstrate American technological superiority. One of the most persistent arguments made by proponents of the moon landing hoax is that the images and footage of the event contain inconsistencies and anomalies that they claim cannot be explained by natural causes. For example, they point to the fact that there are no stars visible in the images of the moon, as well as the lack of impact craters or dust clouds around the landing site. They also claim that the American flag planted on the moon appears to be waving, which is impossible in the vacuum of space. Despite these arguments, the overwhelming majority of scientists and experts in the fields of astronomy and space exploration reject the notion that the moon landing was faked. They point to a wealth of evidence, including rock samples and other artifacts that were brought back from the moon, as well as the physical and physiological effects that the astronauts experience, such as radiation exposure and loss of bone density, which can only be explained by extended exposure to the moon's environment. The moon landing remains one of the most widely debated and discussed events in modern history. While many people continue to question the validity of the moon landing and the various theories that suggest it was fake, the overwhelming weight of evidence and expert testimony supports the conclusion that it was a genuine and historic event. The moon landing represents a remarkable achievement in human history, and it continues to inspire and captivate people around the world, regardless of their opinions about its authenticity. Again, continuing the theme of unsolved disappearances, let us now examine the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, the pioneering aviator who vanished without a trace in 1937. Earhart was a trailblazer in the field of aviation, setting numerous records and pushing the boundaries of what was possible in the sky. Her disappearance remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, and her fate has been the subject of much speculation and investigation. On July 2, 1937, Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, took off from Lee, Papua New Guinea in their plane, a Lockheed Electra, on the final leg of a planned around-the-world flight. However, they were never seen or heard from again, and despite extensive search efforts, no trace of them or their aircraft was ever found. In the years since Earhart's disappearance, a number of theories have been put forth to explain what happened to her. Some of the most popular theories include the idea that she crashed into the Pacific Ocean, that her plane ran out of fuel and she was forced to make a water landing, or that she and Noonan were captured by the Japanese and taken as prisoners. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence in the case of Amelia Earhart is a photograph that was discovered in the National Archives in 2012. The photograph appears to show a woman who many believe is Earhart and a man who many believe is Noonan, along with a plane that resembles their Lockheed Electra on a dock on the island of Jaluit in the Marshall Islands. Despite efforts to definitively identify the individuals in the photograph, the truth about the image remains a subject of much debate and speculation. In conclusion, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Despite decades of investigation and speculation, the truth about what happened to her has never been definitively established, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and unanswered questions. The case of Amelia Earhart is a reminder of the many dangers and uncertainties that exist in our world, and it continues to captivate the imagination of people around the world. Despite the efforts of experts and amateur sleuths, the true answers to many of these puzzles remain elusive, leaving behind a legacy of unexplained mysteries. Why did the Anasazi disappear? What really happened to Rockefeller? These are just a few of the many questions that continue to haunt us, reminding us of the many mysteries of America.